In a previous video, we've talked about the last surviving clone trooper as seen within the canon, named CT-6116 or Kix. After witnessing Tup kill his Jedi General, Master Tiplar, and being confronted by Fives that he'd uncovered a terrible conspiracy placing every Jedi in grave danger, the 501st Medic began conducting his own investigation. This led Kix to eventually discover the Sith plot against the Jedi himself. But before he could warn the Jedi and his fellow clones about the inhibitor chip in every trooper containing the protocol for Order 66, Kix and his discovery was noted by the Sith. Looking to interrogate the clone trooper, Dooku captured Kix, and while on board a Separatist cruiser, placed him in a cryostasis pod for transport to Sereno. However, the Separatist cruiser was ambushed by the Republic, and to ensure that Kix didn't fall back into enemy hands as ordered by Dooku, a B-1 battle droid made a random jump through hyperspace to avoid detection. Having crash-landed on the Outer Rim planet of Pona Terminal, Kix would stay in stasis on board the cruiser for the next 50 years, until he was located 30 years after the Battle of Yavin by Sidon Athano. But there was one clone trooper within Legends who not only lived longer than Kix, having still been alive roughly 60 years after the Clone Wars, did so without the use of any stasis device. In this video expose, I will describe the oldest surviving clone trooper, who by the measurements of the clone's accelerated aging, lived to be 140 years old. This clone trooper was originally known as Null-10, but would come to take the adopted name of Jaing Skirata. Jaing was part of the Null class of Advanced Recon Commandos, literally the first 6 clone troopers developed by the Kaminoans when experimenting with the genetic template of Jango Fett. Initially ordered to be terminated due to their over-questioning of authority, the 6 surviving Null troopers were saved by Jango Fett and the Mandalorian instructor on Kamino named Clan Skirata. Having been named after the Mandalorian training master who lived during the time of the new Sith Wars, roughly 1500 years before the Clone Wars, Jaing and his fellow Nulls would be utilized as special intelligence operatives. But how was this clone trooper able to live over 40 years after the destruction of the first Death Star, even with the accelerated aging of the clones? Although Jaing and the other 5 Null-class ARC Troopers were loyal to the Republic, they also had another goal during the war: to hunt down and find Ko-Sai, the Kaminoan who was the chief scientist and lead genetic engineer behind the creation of the Clone Army. However, halfway through the war, Ko-Sai first defected to the Separatists, but eventually abandoned them as well, becoming affiliated with neither side in the war and choosing to continue her work in secrecy. Jaing, the Null-class ARCs, and Clan Skirata made it a priority to find Ko-Sai and use her knowledge to stop the accelerated aging of Jaing and his brothers. After a number of failed missions, the hyper-focus of Null-7 in finding the Kaminoan scientist paid off. Having located her, Ko-Sai was approached by Cal and 2 Null-class troopers, looking for her to assist them in allowing the Nulls to live a full, non-altered lifespan. At first, Ko-Sai refused, believing that Cal would use her research simply to enrich himself. But eventually she relented, accepting an exchange of blood samples and multipotent stem cells from the son of a Jedi Knight and the Clone Commando for some gene sequences that would allow for the age acceleration to be terminated and reversed. However, after studying the fascinating genome of the offspring of a Jedi and clone trooper, Ko-Sai chose to take her own life to deny Cal and the Nulls any more information. But they had what they needed. Following Order 66, Cal formally adopted the 6 Null-class ARC Troopers, who then deserted from the Grand Army of the Republic to join Cal upon Mandalore. With the information gained from Ko-Sai, and using funds obtained from an ingenious scheme to steal fractions of credits from billions of banking accounts across the galaxy, Cal and his adopted sons employed the best scientists to create a cure for the accelerated aging of the clones. And we do have confirmation that this plan worked. 40 years after the Battle of Yavin, roughly 60 years after the end of the Clone War, it would be Boba Fett who would come across the former Null-class ARC Jaing. When Murta Gev, the Mandalorian bounty hunter and granddaughter of Boba, first saw her grandfather without his mask, she instantly recognized his appearance was similar to a Mandalorian she had met previously, who claimed to have fought in the Clone Wars. Eventually, Boba would track down this Mandalorian, revealing that it was none other than Jaing Skirata. Jaing and a number of his brothers were able to successfully use co-size research to end the accelerated aging process, allowing him to live well past the standard life expectancy of a clone trooper. Using the typical measurement of a clone, Jaing lived to be 140 years old. So there we have it, how a clone trooper was able to live a full 60 years after the Clone Wars within Legends. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions? Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. Or perhaps follow us on Twitter @SW Reading Club for updates regarding the channel, or support the channel through Patreon for access to exclusive rewards and discussions. If not for me, for love at first sight.